welcome to my channel. My name is Sherrilyn Dale. I am so glad you found me. If you are new here, over here, I mostly share true crime cases sprinkled in with some cults, predatory people and groups. So if this is something that aligns with you, I would love if you stayed, subscribed, liked, comment, all of the things. It helps me tremendously. I have recently switched up my upload schedule to about 2 videos a week. Make sure that you turn on your notification. I know not all the time it works, but mostly, it can help. And I don't really know when my upload schedule is. So if you put the notifications on, I'm usually pretty active in the comments within the first hour of the video uploading. So I love to chat with you, send you love, thank you for watching, all of the good things. So with that being said, we are going to get right into it today. There is a lot to go over. Before we do, though, I have a quick message for you. Thank you to our sponsor, nuts.com. I'm actually really proud of myself for not bursting out laughing, because every time I tell somebody about this company, I giggle because I am literally 37 going on 12. In all seriousness, though, we have become huge fans. Nuts.com is a family-owned business. It's actually 3rd generation, which I absolutely love. It dates back to 1929. And although they have expanded and grown throughout the years, they have continued to prioritize their product being of the utmost highest quality. And while nuts is in the name, they actually have a wide variety of product. They have everything from cashews, almonds, pecans, pistachios, dried mangoes, crystallized ginger, dates, jelly beans, jawbreakers, chocolate covered gummy bears. It's literally just a one-stop shop for all of your pantry staples and more. Something I really love, on top of making sure that quality is of the utmost importance, so is freshness. So they actually roast their nuts and pop their popcorn the day that the order ships out. So by the time it arrives at their customer's door, it is delicious and fresh as if you just bought it from a store yourself. Now, I always put my kids to the taste test because I feel like they are the most honest. And from Clout Baby to who's not a baby anymore, to my oldest Haley, we have all devoured the snacks that they sent us. It actually pained me to share the bourbon pecans with Reverie, but then I would just look over at her how much she was loving them and how much she loved the bag with the little nut guy on it, and it's like I couldn't help myself but share it with her. But I now know that I will be ordering everybody their own individual bags and labeling them so that I can be selfish and not share. Nuts.com is super flexible with their orders as well. You can order a la carte if you want, or you can do auto delivery just to make sure that you are never out of stock. Auto delivery actually saves customers 5%. There are no fixed plans though. Customers can choose the quantity and frequency that works best for them. You can also postpone or cancel anytime free of charge. Right now, nuts.com is offering new customers a free gift with purchase plus free shipping on orders $29 or more. And you can find them over at nuts.com/Sherrilyn. You absolutely have to head on over and just check out all of the delicious options. I can't even begin to just touch a portion of them in this quick ad. So go on over to nuts.com/Sherrilyn and you will receive a free gift and free shipping with all orders $29 or more. We're also just approaching the holiday season here right now. So if you're wanting to get a jump on some really good Christmas gifts, stocking stuffers, snacks to have out if you are hosting, I can assure you these will be a hit. Thank you so much again, nuts.com. And once again, you can find all of their delicious goodies over at nuts.com/Sherrilyn. Okay, let's get started. Let's just start with the fact that I am very aware that I am not okay right now. I am not okay. I cannot tell you how good it felt in the last Twin Flames universe video to just upload it after all of the work that was put into it, all of the research, just going through all of their programs, their YouTube videos. it just felt nice to just be done and never have to sit through another one of Jeff and Shalia's videos again. And then Netflix dropped an atomic bomb on my life. And here we are. Now, if you missed my first video, I will have it linked below. I highly recommend watching that one first and then come back, because some of this stuff might be lost on you. I am going to basically like touch on a lot of the things that we talked about then, but just briefly, so you would still be able to follow, but it kind of goes more in depth on certain subjects that I focus on that episode, and then other things that I'm going to focus on here today. Right now, there are 2 documentaries also out. There is one on Prime and there is one on Netflix. My recommendation, if you want to watch those as well, would be to start with the Prime one, just because it kind of lays down a lot of the foundation for just like the introduction of how this, in my opinion, cult got started, and then go to the Netflix one. So the one on Prime is called Desperately Seeking Soulmates, Escaping Twin Flame Universe, and then the Netflix one is called Escaping Twin Flames. And just like this video today, it's similar to the 2 Netflix documentaries. You're going to learn a lot of different things in both. You'll hear from and about different victims and from ex-members. So it's not like it's going to be a repeat, but that's just the order that I would put it in. And then same for my videos. I would go watch the first. You guys get it. Okay, let's go. Like I said, never thought I'd have to do a follow-up. I'm actually, there's even more coming. I'm going to be a guest speaking about this on a podcast pretty soon as well. So it's like there's just a never-ending variety, proof of evidence that this is, in my opinion, a cult and needs to be stopped. It's dangerous, abusive. There are no words. I think I said it in the last video. I get really protective of like the YouTube space particularly. So when I see something of this magnitude starting on here, I just go in rage mode. And I think really the only way to help future victims, support those that are still being abused, is to talk about this, share this, just so that this group cannot continue to go under the radar, bring more people in, or even keep the ones that are currently still in there. In the last video, we do kind of go in deeper as to who Jeff and Shalia are, who are the people who created Twin Flames universe. Just a really quick reminder and synopsis to anybody who is wanting to be a rebel and not go and watch that first. Basically, the 2 of them met while they were kind of each on their own spiritual journeys. Shalia seemed to be much more into hers than Jeff was when they met. They met through Facebook. Jeff flew out to meet Shalia. She introduced him to the whole concept of twin flames. She believed that the 2 of them were twin flames, and from that moment forward, they basically just like leaned into that with everything. It became their identity. They started a YouTube channel, and from there that spawned into them creating a online course, a book, a meal service, a trauma healing program. I believe they even have like a game and also a church. And through this all, the motives are really brought to light, that they're in it for the money. Now, the grift is that they guarantee, it's a guarantee, these are their words, that if their members do the work that they provide, if you buy all of the courses on their website, which is upwards of almost $9,000 for like the highest one, you will find your twin flame and you will be in harmonious union.
I want you to know that I'm going to be able to take you all the way into harmonious union. Like I want you to be able to trust me that I can take you into harmonious union, just like in the same way that you could trust your good dad to pick you up and take care of you and to love you and hold you when you need it. Like, that level of certainty is the level of certainty that I want you to have in our relationship. Like, I want you to, like, know that I care about you. And not just like I say it and you're like, okay, he cares about me. Like, I want you to know and feel in your heart that I care about you. Like, I want a real relationship with you. Like, no holds barred, like not hiding anything. Like, I'm here for you. Like, I don't want you to need me. And I don't need you. And that should be obvious to you if you watch a few of my videos. I don't need you.
The problem is that guarantee has not happened for thousands of people.
I always choose to be happy, and I already am. And I want to keep being happy, and I never
That's
run
your lie.
away.
You're not happy. You are numbed out. You cannot be happy without your twin flame.
But I am happy.
I've had about enough of that, Marie-Sophie. I've had about enough of your disrespect of me.
It's getting pretty old. Well,
I will not be abused by you, Marie-Sophie. You don't know better than God. And you must surrender to Him.
you feel good?
Push yourself to go faster?
Not really.
No? You're just being a whiny little bitch.
Now, I told you in the last video that I actually joined the group on Facebook. I've now been figured out and got kicked out. But prior to being kicked out, there was over 40,000 people in this group, and they were only advertising like 23 twin flames on their website. I do think it's really important to mention that a lot of the people in their promo videos and marketing materials are not even together anymore or even members. And this is where everything just gets like out of your mind bananas, okay? Now, I mentioned in the last video that the early days of this group starting, people would find Jeff and Shalia and they would teach their students how to, I guess, attract their twin flame.
And it's a lie if you think, or you're telling people that, you know, oh, there's something wrong with you, you gotta change yourself. No. It's about you being in control of your own reality, and if you don't like something in it, well, by God, you have the power to change it.
That's what we teach.
Yeah.
Never heard a quote quite like that before. Very nice.
Yeah. People, if they want to try to misconstrue our words, well, we're being very straightforward about it.
We've always been straightforward.
We've always been straightforward about it. Mm-hmm. But I know sometimes people like to do that.
Ego likes
Try
to do that.
prove it, you know, something else. It's so nice to be around like other people who are in the process of mending their own fences as well. Like there's this just really nice like camaraderie and community, and like not feeling alone, because you're not alone in this.
Now, a lot of people that joined the group believed that they had already met their twin flame in their life somewhere. Could have been through school or somebody from their past that they just couldn't stop thinking about, didn't understand what that meant, and they were wanting Jeff and Shalia's help kind of getting answers. So Jeff and Shalia would work with them at a huge cost, of course. They would talk to God, see if this is, you know, was their twin flame. They would confirm that this was the twin flame. And from that point, it was pretty much just like, balls to the wall, this is your twin flame, you need to claim them. They encouraged stalking, breaking up relationships and marriages. There was no boundaries. What happened was when these members were doing all the work, paying hundreds, thousands of dollars, they're getting restraining orders placed against them. They're not getting in harmonious union with their twin flame. They started questioning Jeff and Shalia's teachings.
What would you do for that? Like, what would you pay to have what we have? Like, what? Honestly, like, put a price on it. Is it $100? Is that too much? You can go out and
create
you can get
wealth, create your money,
and every single person, like everyone who said, you know, they came to our community and they bought our work and they were fucking bankrupt. They're like, I heard this so many times, Shalia.
Yeah.
This is what they say. I had no money. I signed up for Twin Flame Ascension School on total faith because I knew in my heart it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then everything was much better because you invest in yourself. Right. And then you have more to give. And so then you can go out and get that extra part-time job, and or like, attract more work or more money. So everyone who's achieved harmonious union, and you can find them in our Facebook group, and you can talk to them. You can talk to them and ask them yourself.
Yeah.
You know, what's it like? You can see them talking about our work. Mm. All of them say the same thing. And they all signed up for Twin Flame Ascension School. Yeah. They all claimed their support.
Claim their support, yeah.
you gotta get over this one. You gotta get over your fear of money and wealth. And you gotta get over the fear of claiming your support and claiming your community.
Yeah, and claiming your healing. Yeah.
So to solve that, Jeff and Shalia then come back and say they've spoken to God, and that actually has been your false twin flame this entire time. Your real twin flame is so-and-so, and it would be somebody that was in the group. I spoke about this in my last video, how when this happened, a lot of like the OG members that were in the group, they kind of started leaving at this point because they were uncomfortable. They weren't attracted to the person that they were being told was their twin flame, didn't have anything in common with them. There was just something in it that felt wrong. And they're not being told to just, like test the waters, go on a couple dates, see how it goes. These members are being told to sometimes fly to another country, move in with essentially a complete stranger, and then the pressure of marriage was really forced on them because Jeff and Shalia needed them for like their brand. This is like another successful true or twin flame universe harmonious union that we contributed to. Now, when any member had concerns of this, in my opinion, arranged marriage, they were ripped apart, embarrassed on live streams, and ostracized from the group for questioning God. Something that concerned me hearing about this that I didn't talk about before was you don't know who the hell these people really are in your group. And just based on the work that I do every day, I'm like, are background checks being done? You have no idea who you're actually setting up your members with. Like this could be a dangerous situation. And sure enough, the Netflix documentary showed that. There was a 19-year-old member who was brought into the TFU. Yeah, I've watched so much about it that I know like the TFU, Twin Flames Universe. She was brought into the group by her sister. Her sister was a coach. She was in harmonious union with her twin flame. This was somebody that she actually had met outside of the group, got in with the group, really leaned into it, and it actually worked for a period of time between her and her partner. So this 19-year-old, she sees her sister super passionate about this. She sees her sister teaching others how to find the same thing that she does, so she decides to join with her. And it seemed that Jeff and Shalia really wanted to focus on her particularly finding her twin flame. In my opinion, I think to them, this would have been a really big deal if she did. Like her sister brought her in. Now all of a sudden, her sister's in. She finds a twin flame. Like, what better way of showing this actually works? So they're constantly asking her for updates in a lot of the weekly meetings on Zoom, and she didn't really have any. She wasn't seeing any signs of anybody that she was interacting with that could be a twin flame. And she also wasn't somebody who wanted to force a connection. Like, she didn't want to settle. She had standards, which is why she wasn't in a relationship. Like, she's a beautiful girl, seems very educated and smart. She wasn't in a point in her life where she was just like waiting and wondering why it wasn't happening for her. She was only 19. Fast forward to the first in-person twin flame universe meetup. She attends with her sister and her sister's husband, among several other members of the group. And again, she's quite focused on. And Jeff asks her in front of everybody, how has your journey been? And she's like, yeah, it's okay. I'm just excited to continue doing the work and see how it goes, but I don't really think that I have anything to report at this time. And then in front of everybody, he's like, has anybody reached out to you recently? Now, I don't know if this was orchestrated by him, but it seems suspicious because she's like, actually, yeah, yesterday somebody from the group who she had never met and who wasn't in there in person DM'd her out of the blue and sent her a song. So she says this, and Jeff just goes, what what is his name? What is your twin flame's name? So from that moment forward, this was her twin flame. She was highly pressured to pursue this connection, and she was uncomfortable. He was 11 years older than her. She wasn't really feeling an attraction, even just like online, but she was scared to question anything because like this is God saying this, and she didn't want to question God. So she tries to push those feelings aside and be with him. And like I said, there's no courtship really here with these people. This is your twin flame. You gotta go start your union. Like, why wait? The best is yet to come. Just go and lean into it with everything. Well, they didn't live in the same state, and she felt more comfortable with him coming to her state where she, was familiar with, had family, but he couldn't because he was a drug felon with a criminal record that couldn't cross state lines because he was on probation. So given this information, Jeff and Shalia were given this information. What do? They encourage her to go move with him. And she does. And when this happened, she's obviously kind of leaning on her sister quite a bit for support and guidance. They spoke a lot. They were really close. And then when Jeff and Shalia realized how close they were and how much they were relying on one another, they told the sisters that they were too close. It was inhibiting their individual twin flame unions from really getting to the next level, and basically said that there needed to be like some barriers between them. And I think that that's really important to mention, because it's like, if that is what's going on with siblings that are in the group, like they're in the same group, imagine what is being told to members who do not have their family in twin flames universe with them. So not only did her partner have these charges and was on probation, but he also had several mental illnesses that were being untreated. He was exhibiting dangerous behaviors. He was abusive. And when she shared these concerns, it was flipped on her that she must not be supportive enough for him to heal.
As far as his mental disorder, if Josh had a really high, happy, supportive, loving environment that was consistent, he could actually work through this. This is the price. We don't get to set the price. We don't get to pick the person. God sets the price. God created the person. You need to accept that this is what you have to work with.
This young woman shared that she was absolutely traumatized by this man. This is one of the hardest things that she had gone through in her life. She said that one night he chased her down and he was actually sent to jail. And instead of helping her flee the situation while he's in jail, they made her pay for a map session. And Dr. Christy Emmerich tells her that she needs to do more grounding and do more mirror exercising to work through this.
We see Joshua, and I'd be like, oh no, if that was my twin flame, like, we'd be so f***ed. But you see Marley, and she seems completely content with him, unless they try to do something weird, and then he goes, bananas.
She calls them episodes.
Like,
when she contacted me about it, I communicated, like, from my perspective, you just need to continue to ground. It's really important for you to ground.
That's exactly it.
And continue to do the work of the day. And what she communicated was, yeah, I feel like anytime he has these episodes, he's in his head, which tells me I'm in my head. And I'm like,
exactly.
Right. So just continue to ground into the mirror exercise and into the work, and that will help the episodes move through him peacefully.
I think I've been completely clear, and if someone wants to use this to harm themselves, I can't stop them.
Now, we talked about MAP in the last video, that part got me, I think, the most fired up. It's all fires me up, but really, really upset me when I had found out about the MAP program in the Prime special. I don't believe they touch on it. They do a little bit more in the Netflix, but basically, for those who don't know, MAP is a program that they created to heal intense traumas. It's predatory. It is so predatory. It pisses me off to no end. They're practitioners. The practitioners that they have in MAP are coaches from Twin Flame Universe Group. Not a single person in this trauma program is qualified to heal trauma. And I just knew shifty shit was going down. And then sure enough, to hear about this abusive situation, instead of getting her help, they make her pay for healing sessions because her partner was abusing her and got arrested. And she's not the only one. It's obvious there are so many people who are encouraged to utilize this program. There was actually another ex-member that talked about her experience in the group and then being pushed on to utilizing the MAP program. A little backstory, this member is somebody that was arrested for violating a restraining order. And when she was arrested, she couldn't call her mom because that relationship had just been demolished by her influence from TFU. So she said she laid in her jail cell crying, feeling so alone, and then the only thing she could think to do was do the mirror exercise there by herself because it had just been so ingrained in her. If you don't know, the mirror exercise it's basically when you blame yourself for every single thing that happens in your life, including other people's actions. So if your partner is abusing you, you look to yourself and say, why am I abusing myself? So this member pays to do work when she gets released from jail with Dr. Christie. If you never saw, Dr. Christie is somebody who has a PhD in public safety, not psychology. She's a veteran who says that she can use her contacts in the military and the Pentagon to fund this program so that they can reach veterans who have PTSD. Her husband is also on the board of the MAP program, and his qualifications are that he has 20 years experience in the restaurant industry. So he allegedly, that's enough to qualify you to assign practitioners to patients. So Christy told this woman that she had deeply suppressed sexual abuse trauma as a child. This, to this member, was a complete shock. She had not a single recollection of anything like that happening to her ever, but especially in childhood. And she was told that this was so traumatic that she had buried it so deep, and that's why there were so many blocks for her quest with her twin flame and why he was rejecting her enough that she already had a restraining order and then was already put in jail for violating that restraining order. You guys, like the rage that I feel. And this is a common thing that a lot of ex-members have said about their experience in the MAP program and even in, the Twin Flames universe open forum. I saw it personally myself, where you're told that a lot of your trauma comes from childhood. There could be a lot of it that you don't remember, and you need to cut your family out because they're basically not doing anything for you. So even if you don't remember anything happening, let them go. Pay us more money so that we can heal that trauma that you don't even remember, and just ostracize yourself from your family because they did this to you, but we can help you at a cost. And this is one of the main reasons why we need to continue talking about this, share all of this information, is because these MAP coaches are actually instructed to go and look for patients on Facebook, PTSD groups, trauma groups, abuse groups. I'll share this quick Zoom clip of Chrissy Emmerich saying that she is going to target, she uses the word target, sexual assault harassment groups.
This week I'm targeting like sexual assault, sexual harassment programs and opportunities.
And like I said, Jeff's plan is to have this licensed so that they can have it in training for the military.
Let's license this, this training program to the military, and then I'll be a billionaire.
Their entire scam premise of their existence is to prey on vulnerable people. Like, there is zero boundary to their greed. And that brings me down the next little turn in this rabbit hole of steaming pile of shit. So after a little while, when Jeff and Shalia were matching members together that were within the group, they encountered an issue. Over 80% of the group were female members, and most of that 80% were women who were straight. So what Jeff and Shalia would do is match, or not do, I'm saying what they would do, what they are doing. This is still ongoing, which is, again, why this is important to share. They match female members together, and then they assign one a divine masculine and then the other a divine feminine. Quick recap of this too, if you didn't see. They say you are either one or the other. There is no in between. And basically, just from what I've seen, what's been shown, their own words, basically, if you're a woman who might be bisexual or a lesbian, or even a straight woman who likes to wear jeans and hoodies and no makeup, you are a divine masculine, and you need to present as such in your life, meaning you are encouraged to change your pronouns, cut your hair, wear men's clothes, and change your name.
Who you are is, as a masculine energy, is a man. And I know that this might upset a lot of people and might cause you to freak out, but that's just relax, because there's a deeper truth here. And I'm not here to push against anything, but simply to reveal something. And the ultimate truth is, if you're a divine masculine, you're a man. You're a guy, you're a dude.
I was really guided and supported through my coaching at Twin Flames Universe.
They, helped me realize that I was the masculine energy, and it went from there.
We spoke about a couple that this happened to in the last video. It was another point that I got really heated, where we were talking about ex-members Anne and Katrina. And Anne, I guess, is just a little bit more masculine than Katrina. And so Jeff told her she was a divine masculine and that she should change her name to Dan. When she wasn't really sure about it, he got pretty upset. He kept calling her Anne the Man.
In class again. If you recall, last week we talked to Anne the Man and Katrina. Let's check in with them again if they're available. Don't you look upon me, Anne the Man, and say, man, I love how he is. I want to be more like that. It's not a good deal. It's time to make a new choice. To be a man. Dan and Katrina? Mr. Dan? You stop by calling you Dan and Mr.?
Well, I don't like the name Dan.
Don't like Dan? It's a perfect name. Do you believe me when I say you're a man inside?
I have to be willing to...
This is very political. Do you believe me or not? I say that you're a man inside. How does that feel?
It feels like you're talking about something that's like an outer reality and putting it inside.
Or you're pissed off right now, and you're going away from that anger, and it's not serving you. I know a pissed off man can see going it's you.
Ultimately, when she wouldn't change her name or pronouns, she and her wife were kicked out of the group, and members were told that they were evil, that they were trying to infiltrate the group and steal money from Jeff and Shalia. It was a big thing, and this is common. And in the Netflix documentary as well, you do hear about that. If you do not conform, if you do not agree to their suggestions, because they have said they've never forced anything on anybody. And I think it's clearly protective language, and it's true. It's not like they're sitting them down, injecting them with testosterone or anything. But when you're deep in it, and you're a coach and this is your livelihood, you're being paid to coach other people, you're, I think, scared of the consequence. So a lot of people just lean into it and try to heal themselves to get to this realization that this is who they are supposed to be. I think it was in the Netflix documentary that showed like that there are so many more examples. And I think it was that one that said there were over 20 people in 1 year that were assigned to one another as like the twin flame that were within the group that were the same sex, and that the divine masculine was strongly encouraged to transition. And what I didn't know is a lot of these couples found out about this through a Facebook post. It was like a call sheet where it was like, okay, like here's the announcement of the new, twin flame unions. So you'd go and look on it, see where your name was. And if you were on the list, it had it where whoever was the divine masculine was named first and then the divine feminine was after. So you would know from this post, like, okay, I'm the divine masculine of this coupling, and then my partner is the divine female. Ex-members who have had this happen to them said that they felt really violated in a couple of the situations. They pushed back, and when they were basically told that they were questioning God and this is the way that it was, they left. For those who did stay, for those who wanted to try and do what like God instructed them to do, but weren't really feeling it because this was new to what they thought they knew about themselves, they were encouraged to work with their coach through their blocks. We know from the last episode that coaches are people who have paid for the entire program thousands of dollars, and they're not licensed professionals, even though Jeff and Shalia tried to, I guess in some way, insinuate that they are.
So it's one thing to come join our Facebook group and to be a member and watch. It's a whole other thing to be active and to be sharing in your journey, to be connecting with people, to make friends. And then it's a whole other thing to fully commit to yourself, to become a member of Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose class, to get yourself a certified ascension coach that we certify to make sure that they know exactly what they're doing and they can really help you. It's one thing to be there and another thing to invest, because you'll find the moment that you become a member of Twin Flame Ascension School or Life Purpose class, the whole community sees you differently.
You're treated even differently.
Treated better. You're already treated well.
You're already treated well, but like, it's, it's like joining a club, I guess. Like everyone else is invested, and then you invest. Well, my God, like you can relate on a deeper level. Like you can relate to what it is you're,
and then you
doing.
get to be around people who are committed like you and who care. Quality people who keep getting better and better and better and know of all of the resources of our community. The deeper you go in the community, the deeper you invest, the more you get out of it.
Like I said in the last video, this means absolutely nothing. Just because somebody paid Jeff and Shalia to learn from them so that they can teach others does not mean that they are equipped to heal people and work through their blocks in their lives and their abuse and their trauma, especially when it comes at a substantial financial fee. Now, we know from an ex-coach who was trained to work through this with their trainees. For those who were having issues working towards or working through their new, gender role specifically, there was a healing group that was formed for that specifically to work through those blocks. This coach, ex-coach who was a part of it, said that they all had to agree not to talk about it and that these sessions were to continue with everybody until they all complied and healed the block. And there have been a couple women who have spoken about this and their experience and say that they absolutely were, I want to say, you know, like encouraged, but it was like a pressure encouraged to cut their hair short, wear masculine clothing, start thinking about their new name, and start notifying people that they were changing their pronouns. And we know that that has, for several members who are still in the group, turned into them fully transitioning. Now, I said it in the last video, and I am going to say it again in this video. This is not an example of the trans community. I support the trans community. I have and always will be an ally. And I think that that's why I get really heated on this topic. It's my opinion that Jeff and Shalia are absolutely preying on this group and using them. It is nobody's decision besides their own, who they are, what their pronouns are, what their name is, and who they want to love. And in both documentaries, it basically shows that these members are brought to the realization. It's never, I've always known. This is who I've always been. It's been, I found this out through the MAP program or through Jeff and Shalia.
See how all along, how it was playing out.
It happened for me the same way. Like my twin flame and I, we both went through MAP, and then really shortly after that, like we came into union, and I know today like that would never have happened without MAP.
I wish I could look back and say like it was like, oh yes, this is it. Like no, I definitely had like a lot of no, I didn't really want to look at it, to be honest. Yeah, exactly.
And what's really sad is a lot of these people who have gone through this and who are still currently in the group, they don't have communication or contact with their family. They have also been told that their family isn't supportive enough. So a lot of those people's family members found out through a Facebook post. They posted on Facebook that this is, you know, the journey that they were now taking. And then that's how their family found out. And I think it was really hard for a lot of these family members, not because they didn't support it, but it was like they had questions they wanted to know, and they also wanted to be a support. I mean, if you're going through this in your life, you need support. And what better support than your family who does still love you despite you being told that they don't, and that you have deep trauma that you've suppressed so bad that you don't even remember how evil they've been to you. Now, I was really happy in the last video to see the large majority of the comments were really supportive and understanding. I definitely did see some where it's like, how could people fall for this? Like, this would never happen to me. And I hope that it never, ever does happen to anybody. But it's just so important to remind everybody that this generally happens to people who are in a vulnerable state in their life. There's something usually going on, whether it's a really bad breakup, maybe the end of a friendship that meant a lot to you, maybe even the death of somebody really close to you and you just felt such a loss and didn't know where to turn to. Or maybe even somebody that you just like are so close with and trust with your whole life who was going through something like that and then finds this group and thinks, you know, this is the best thing ever, come on in. The scenarios are endless. Like it can happen to anybody, and I know we don't want to ever think that it can or happen to somebody that we care about, but usually the common factor here is that people who have found themselves in this group or similar groups, they're seeking something. And it's not overnight that they completely cut everybody off. You know, it's something that they invest a lot of time, emotion, connection, money into, and then they just like kind of slowly start to distance themselves from their old reality. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the last video. Jeff and Shalia have also both cut out their families in their videos on YouTube and stuff. They definitely talk about their childhood traumas, and we are nobody to question whether they have any. I will say, based on an interview that I saw with Shalia's dad, like it appears that he loved his daughter very much, did the best she could. Her mother passed away at a very young age, and that seemed to definitely affect her. So whatever their reasons are, they're their reasons, but it's their projection of their experiences onto everybody in the group that is concerning. It was the Prime documentary that Shalia's dad is interviewed in, and he mentioned something that I think is really important in that documentary, where when she cut her family out, it was through a letter, and he said that it was intended that the receiver feel a lot of pain, and that there was a complete finality to that relationship. And then that's what I saw in common with some family members who spoke on the Netflix documentary, who I've also seen speak on Reddit threads. They said that their loved one also cut them out through letters, and they were very cold, very heartless, and very final. And really, all that does is just pull that person further in. You know, now their only support is other people who are drinking the same Kool-Aid, and you're all being told just to keep staying with it, to keep working harder. You're dealing with blocks. We got to get through it. And you're just constantly feeding into this perception that you're still broken. And the cold, hard truth in all of this is that in this type of group, when there is a huge financial motivation, you're never going to be fixed. Like, why would you? They cannot fund their lifestyle, which they love to show off, if you're in a union and you're fixed and you're happy and you're healthy. These people have tried to monetize like absolutely everything that they can. Anything that they provide is for a fee. Like I said, they have a meal service. It's called Divine Dish, and basically they encourage members to use this service because the food within it is to help you ground yourself. One of the ex-coaches said that there were pretty strict, I guess, like guidelines with it, or encouragement with it. I always use that, you know, the Joey quotations, because yes, I guess it can be encouraged. No one's being forced to do anything. But again, we go back to, if you don't follow, you know, you're not giving it your all. And this one ex-coach said that, you know, obviously this was really pushed on her because she was a coach. So she should be encouraging the people under her to also utilize this service. And you are encouraged to eat everything on your plate. She said that the meals were very heavy on the carb side, a lot of red meat. She gained 70 pounds, and she said she definitely wasn't the only one. A lot of members were gaining weight quite rapidly and experiencing some concerning health issues. And on top of basically everything being at a cost, there are also strong allegations of free labor, forced labor being done. 4 years ago, when people were kind of just getting started in it, part-time jobs were, you know, they were encouraged as you got started, but then in private Zoom sessions, you're told, just give in to becoming a coach. Like, you don't want to pursue that dream that you've always had. You want to be a twin flame universe ascension coach. On top of that, they allegedly do not pay members to do their editing for them, their marketing, creating websites, graphic design. A lot of these people are working 12 plus hours a day and not getting paid for it. I personally had come across a Reddit post from somebody who had done, I believe, music for them and was never paid for the work. And something that I've noticed is that on their main Twin Flame Universe YouTube channel, Jeff and Shalia don't really even, I don't think that they ever post on there anymore. They have their Twin Flame Universe Jeff and Shalia channel. But their Twin Flame Universe one is all coaches making videos, uploading them. And based off ex-coaches, ex-members, people who have done work for them and not got paid, I'd be pretty confident in saying that these people are not receiving the AdSense that comes from that. If they are, it would be very little. And what's concerning in the whole thing is even if you are a coach and you are making a income off being a coach, ex-coaches said that even that, you're not making a lot. The money that you are making, you're encouraged to put back into training, go into your coaching groups. And then on top of that, Jeff and Shalia started taking 50% of their income, which I think is just such a freaking slap in the face, but even more proof what the motive is here. They're taking more money at every opportunity that they can, and then they just splash their lifestyle in front of everybody. Like they can't help themselves. Shalia's decked out in head to toe Chanel, has Louis Vuitton bags, drives a $100,000 Porsche. He's got sports cars, rocking designer watches. And I mean, that'd be fine if the way you were getting the money wasn't by guaranteeing people something that you're not delivering on and preying on vulnerable people. Now, something else that I saw that was deeply unsettling, and I was thankful that the Netflix documentary was able to kind of share people's experiences from hearing about this firsthand, because I had seen mention of this on their YouTube channel several times when I was researching the first case, but didn't want to touch on it unless I kind of knew more personal accounts of it. But it involves talks of their babies and other babies.
Standing with the community about twin flames because it's twin, there's only two, but we have three.
Every day we claim her, even though she's not here yet. She'll come.
I'm going to give you a quick update on our embryo transfer that happened today. I felt this golden energy just completely seal the room, almost like an iron curtain or something. Just
I'm the divine masculine in our twin flame union.
And then the divine feminine.
That's great.
Or a part of it.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But she's referring to our third twin flame, our child, Grace. She's a feminine energy.
Yeah.
Divine, 100% feminine. That makes me 200% masculine, right?
Ha ha ha. That's funny. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, well, I feel like I don't really care to justify or talk about why we're doing IVF. Like,
Oh, I'm not.
yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, for us, we have our reasons. That's fun.
Yeah, because we want to gender select for a girl. Pretty simple and straightforward. The thing that makes us different is the approach. And that approach is a complete solution to parenting, raising children, system of education, everything, all of it. And that's what we are testing and developing with our one child.
So basically, before their child was even born, they had claimed her. They had named her Grace, and this goes back as far as I could see, 2017. They ended up doing fertility, not because of any issues conceiving, but to ensure that she was divine feminine, which they said like she had claimed and told them she was. They refer to her as their third twin flame. They have done this for years. They have talked to her for years before conception. And they have shared that she is celibate and that she doesn't need anybody, just God, and that she can pleasure herself because she has a relationship with God.
Our third twin flame is, so-called celibate, because she can satisfy herself completely and give herself all the sex she needs.
Yeah, I've been talking to her about that
I do know that there were some issues with, I believe, some of the IVF attempts. So it took a while for them to have a baby, but as of last year, 2022, they did welcome their first baby, a girl named Grace. And listen, there's an argument for, this is their child. It is nobody's business what values they instill in her. I personally think that it is a recipe for childhood trauma up the wazoo, especially since they talk about childhood trauma so much, but that is my opinion. But what's more unsettling is that they are wanting to bless certain members, coaches, with what they are calling golden babies. Now, they say that these are babies who have already ascended. They are, I guess, essentially going to be like a whole generation of babies born within the twin flame community to then become twin flames with each other, which I can only imagine how dangerous that can be with the amount of control that there already is from members who had past lives and families prior to even finding this group. And then you are raising a child from, preconception even with these beliefs. Now, obviously, there are couples within the group who cannot biologically reproduce with each other, so they can seek sperm donors within the true flame community. Did I say true flame community? Twin flame community. And then I guess at first it seemed like you could choose who you wanted to be your donor. And then Jeff said that he who was channeling God could be the only one to make that decision. So only him and Shalia could make the decision. And this decision was based on your income level through coaching. So if you're not making enough for them, you're not worthy of a golden baby, which in my opinion is actually not a bad thing. Like, I hope you get out and don't have any of those ties remaining. Just saying. But it enrages me and breaks my heart at the same time, imagining, this guy being the one who decides who your sperm donor is, and you don't have a say in that. And I'm calling it right now. I'm gonna say that pretty soon, like, he is gonna be the only one who's a qualified donor. In my opinion, that's what I think. I truly believe he's like laying down the foundation for some Warren Jeffs 2.0 shit. Now, from what we know, he has either recently purchased or is in the process of trying to purchase like this huge piece of land with some community hall on it. And he started telling coaches to prepare to buy a trailer and move to Michigan and live on the property. I believe that this is still going on behind the scenes. I don't think that it's being talked about as much like on the public forum, but like if you're in the session, the private Zoom sessions where you get together weekly with the group and talk, I do believe that it's still being talked about, because when I was still in the Facebook group, there was a woman in the group who was talking about giving up her dream of restoring her family farm and saying that, there's all these signs and encouragement that she should probably just let that dream go and move to Michigan, where this land is. And I think that that's really wild and ironic, because in the last video, I'll share it here too, there's a recording of an officer going to Jeff and Shalia's house, talking with Jeff about concerned people who had called, worried about their family member, that their loved one was in a cult. And one of the reasonings that Jeff gives that this isn't a cult is he's like, don't you need to be all like on a compound or something?
Nice. You want me to talk to you for a minute? Go somewhere else and talk? You want to come to the down to the police station? Not really.
People are claiming that you brainwash them to commit crimes by stalking their twin flame, and scamming them out of their money. how can I brainwash someone to do something against their will? All these calls come in that, you know, there's a cult.
Where's the illegal activity that they're alleging here?
That's what we're trying to...
We're trying to find out if there's something illegal here.
Correct.
That and product online that people can elect to purchase or not. And if there's a community associated with that product that people can elect to be in or not.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
First of all, no, that's not how it happens. There are internet cults. We talked about that in the last video. But second, so you're now, you know, acting out and showing that this is your goal as per your own definition of what a cult is. Like, am I misinterpreting that? Because that's what it sounds like. Now, he still denies that he's running a cult, and one of the ex-members actually said that he made his top coaches watch 2 of the NXIVM documentaries. I talked about the NXIVM cult. If you haven't checked it out, I'll have it linked below for you to watch. That is bananas as well. Effing bananas as well. But he instructed these coaches to go through and then make points as to why he is different than Keith Raniere and that he's not a cult leader. So this ex-coach, who, just hearing her talk, like, you can see she's like really traumatized from coaching people to do really messed up shit. She's actually the one who brought her sister in. And she said that it was through watching this that she saw Jeff absolutely had similar characteristics. She said that when she and the other coaches had said this, he was not happy. He was really upset. And basically they all had to do like an almost 24-hour healing session where they couldn't even really get up to go to the bathroom until they all believed that he wasn't a cult leader. So this is what she said was very definitive for her to wake her up and realize, like, oh my gosh, like I'm in an effing cult. She told her husband. They left. They went to Utah. They got her sister out of her abusive relationship. And after, you know, everything was said and done, her marriage, it did not last. There was like a lot of concerns and of, you know, the dynamic between the two of them, especially when it came to him being like a divine masculine, and that kind of meaning that Jeff kind of insinuates that if you're a divine masculine, you have definitely more control over the divine feminine. That includes when you can basically have access to your partner's body. And if you're not, you know, providing that to the partner, you're not doing a good job as your duty of like having sex at least once a day, even if you don't want to. She has said that her relationship with her sister has been really hard to mend. You know, I don't blame her sister for feeling that way. And I think she was really young and impressionable. But, you know, I can see like that there's just like so much pain caused all around. I truly hope that they can mend. Like I said, oftentimes, like I think people get so caught up in the emotion and belief, like that they want to believe that this is something. No one wants to go into a situation like that believing that there is ill intent and that they've been abused and are taught how to abuse others. So yeah, breaks my heart. I hope that everybody can heal. And I mentioned in the last video, but I do want to touch on it a little bit in here too, just to grasp the severity of this all. And that there has already been a death in this group by somebody taking their life. There was a young woman who has been kept anonymous that expressed in the group that she was feeling deep feelings of depression. Basically, the only thing she was encouraged to do was do the mirror exercise, get with a coach, upgrade her classes. And I personally saw examples of that, multiple examples every single day within that group. There were so many concerning things that I saw, and I was only in there for like 2 weeks. But it was a similar situation to what this young woman seemed to be experiencing. And and she was told to do a one-on-one session with Jeff. She did not. Maybe she couldn't afford it because, like I said, everything within this group is a fee, and she took her own life. And really the only thing that was done to acknowledge it was that there was a post that she had passed, and it essentially blamed her for, you know, allowing, you know, that the illness take over, and that she hadn't really leaned into the work enough. I guess a lot of members left the group after this incident. They just could not stomach what had happened, how it was being kind of spun. And yeah, they just couldn't take it anymore. And a few of them did try to spread the word, blasting even the Twin Flames social media outlets, because they had access to them because they were doing free labor for Jeff and Shalia. Unfortunately, like, it was quickly flagged and they were kicked out of the group. But that's why I think it's so important to not involve yourself in the group and try to spread the word, but other outlets, especially since right now, because of the Netflix documentary coming out and that being such a huge platform for people to watch and learn, just kind of capitalizing on that growth of attention, just like spreading awareness. Just if you see somebody talking about it, talk them off the ledge and tell them why. But like I said, it is devastating that somebody has already lost their life. I've wondered if she was at the point where she had been isolated from her family and thinking that there was just nowhere to turn. And I fear that if something's not done to stop these people, like, I don't think that would be the only case, especially from just based off what I saw in the group from people currently. And like I said, you just have to understand that it's easy for people to get trapped, and it's not just Jeff and Shalia. Like, it's people who they have taught within this whole entire community. So you build connections, you know, within this group with your coaches who have been coached to, in my opinion, abuse people. And then you build connections with these people who have just like stripped you down to just like the most vulnerable piece of your core and then take advantage of you. So like I said, post this, share this like wildfire. I don't support you going into the group and like blasting it. I do think that all that's going to do is just push the people that are in it further into it. I think, you know, post it publicly, warn all of the groups that you're in, because we know that these people are going into support and help groups trying to recruit people. And I think it's just important to spread awareness so that, you know, other victims who are currently in this group or in a similar group or are recently have come out of it, that they know that they're not alone, that their families know that they're not alone, and that you can protect somebody out there from possibly also being abused, you know? Lead with love and logic, because basically what members are being told is that anybody who tries to raise awareness is like evil and we don't get it, and that you know, you're on a path that is beyond what we can comprehend, and that's just unfortunately just not the case. I did want to just briefly ask that if anybody who comes across this video is a family member of somebody who is currently in it. I know that there was mention of a support group on the Netflix documentary, so I don't know what that is, but if you privately want to share that with me, and that if anybody who is currently experiencing this and has a family member in there and is just like looking for support, if you want to reach out and I can connect you guys privately, I think that is also really beneficial, because there is like this whole other side where there's family members and friends and loved ones who are grieving essentially the loss of somebody who is still alive but just not themselves anymore. So if you know how to contact the support group, or if you and you're looking for help and support, please let me know. My email address is sherrilynDale@gmail.com. Okay, you guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It means the world to me. I love and I appreciate you so much. I'm so thankful for the growth that is happening on this channel and just for everybody's support along the entire way. I just love you. I can't say it enough. So yeah, I will see you in the next video. I will miss you terribly. Until then, love each other, love yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.